Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 1 of the Why We Build podcast. This is a podcast where we, the team at Utrust, soon to be xMoney, will take you through all of the structures in our world in the traditional, institutional, centralized world that we know and that we all live in, and explain to you in no complicated terms, in simple, essential, deep dives, why they were built the way they were built, why they work the way they work, and why we feel like it's our job and it's our industry's job to find better solutions. We are going to have incredible guests from all walks of life that have experienced these systems in depth, that are going to show us and tell us what their experience has led them to learn. And we are also going to take our time to do the kind of in-depth research that will bring you real information that will help you truly understand why so many of us are so driven to build this industry and to build the foundation stones for something entirely new. So, this podcast is going to be out
twice a month,
and you will be able to find it anywhere you can find podcasts. You'll be able to find them in video format. I don't know if you're just listening to me or if you are actually seeing my face, but you will be able to find the full episodes of this podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, everywhere else you get your podcasts. We will be there. What I recommend you do right now is follow us on social media. We are on Twitter at Utrust. You'll find us on Instagram. You'll find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere. We also have an official Telegram group that I recommend you guys join. It's also called Utrust. And everything that we are going to be discussing on this podcast, are trying to create it in as many formats as possible, so we reach as many of you as possible with the best information we can. So another thing that I recommend you follow is our blog. You can find it at utrust.com/blog, where we have written down a lot of the things that we are going to be discussing on this podcast. If you follow us for a long time, then odds are you will have seen some of the subjects that we are going to be discussing here, there, or in any other of our channels. So, if you have been following us for a while, then you will know that Utrust is going through a transformation period. Utrust is part of a larger family of companies. Utrust is part of the Multiverse X ecosystem. So for this first episode of the podcast, where we are going to go through all of these universes, all of these worlds with you, we thought that we would start by speaking about Multiverse X, about the ecosystem that we're building, because Utrust is not just a crypto payments company. Utrust, or xMoney, as we are going to be called from April onwards, is the financial backbone of an entire system, of something that is going to be new, something that is going to be revolutionizing the way we see technology and we interact with it. So, Multiverse X is the new identity, the new shape, the new form of what was once known as the Elrond network. Now, the Elrond network is a complex system with over 136,000 people staking, a complex system that has already processed over 67 million transactions, a complex system that has 3,200 validator nodes, and it is growing every day. It is growing as we speak, and it is transforming as we speak. If you've been following us on social media for a while, then you will have seen all that we have discussed about X Day. X Day was a massive event held in Paris for a dedicated audience of people who care about the future of this world, of the future of our society, the future of how we interact with each other, not just on the physical space, but also on the digital space. And that's where a lot of the plans for Multiverse X were revealed to the world for the first time. So what does this mean? Why are we building Multiverse X? Why does Multiverse X matter? This is going to be the angle of every episode of this podcast. We are not going to be telling you about the technical wonders that we are building. We are not going to be telling you about the promise of these amazing technologies that are going to change the world. Although we do believe in the incredible transformative potential of the things that we are creating, we felt like this podcast would find its audience. Its podcast would find someone that is questioning why, when we already have these massive, centralized, powerful institutions with hundreds of years of tradition, with hundreds of years of work, with everything already so solidly built around us, why are we trying to change all of this? Why aren't we working with these systems? Why aren't we trying to find common ground with the institutions that already exist to build towards the future together? Why are we trying to disrupt something that is so central to our lives, such as banking, payments, or art creation? All of these things, we are trying to disrupt them. And why? This is going to be the key to this podcast. We are going to start with why, which may seem like a cliche, but sometimes this is what's missing from the stories we tell and from the way we present ourselves. So, why are we building Multiverse X? Why are we trying to change so much, so fast? So, here's an attempt at an answer. Multiverse X is what comes and what's created when you understand that our digital lives are becoming more and more important. Our digital lives are no longer separated from our physical lives. We are already living in a metaverse. We already have a very significant portion of our day-to-day lives, of how we handle our business, of how we handle our leisure, of how we handle everything we do online. But we don't control any of it. The vast majority of our digital lives is in fact owned by someone else. The vast majority of our digital lives is in the hands of multinational corporations. It's in the hands of large faceless entities that we cannot interact with, that we cannot complain to, and that we cannot question. So Multiverse X happened because Benjamin Minku, the founder of the Elron Network and the current CEO of the company, is a great reader. You may have realized that Elron, Maillard, these names come from the work of John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, right? So whenever Benjamin speaks of his vision for Multiverse X, and he speaks of his vision for what the metaverse can be, two literary works come to mind immediately, and he mentions them often. Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson and Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. These are dystopian visions of what a metaverse can be. These were works that made an important mark on the way Benjamin thinks about the metaverse, and probably of everyone else who has read them, because they present to you closed, claustrophobic, dystopian visions of what a metaverse is if we have no control over it. If we as individuals are lost in a metaverse that is not our own, then these digital worlds can become much more constrictive, much more oppressive, much more dangerous than even the physical worlds that we live in right now. So we have understood and we have realized that if we are going to live in a metaverse, and we are going to live in a metaverse, our digital lives are not going anywhere. Our ability to lead our lives purely in the physical world is not something that we can go back to even if we wanted to. And I don't believe anyone truly wants to. Everyone understands the enormous convenience, the blessing that the internet has been, and that our ability to exist worldwide in one form or another is one of the great gifts of technology. No one wants to return to a world where it doesn't exist, that doesn't exist anymore. But we need to be sure that the world we build with these technologies, the world we build that will allow us to transfer so much of us into it, our avatars, our selves into these worlds, needs to be built with that in mind, needs to be built from scratch with an idea of liberty, with an idea of individuality, and with an idea of control, not through centralized institutions, but through every single one of us. And that's how Multiverse X came to be. So I have spoken to you for a few seconds about what some of the products that we already have out there can do. So now I think is the time to give you a little glimpse of what the new products that are coming into 2023 will mean towards the building of not just better physical world, a freer, fairer physical world, but also what they can mean to the construction of meaningful lives in not just one metaverse, but in a multiverse. So I'm going to share with you now, and I'm sorry for the people who are just listening to this in audio who won't be able to see it as I speak. But don't worry, you can just go to multiversx.com/roadmap, and everything that I'm going to be speaking about and everything that I'm going to be showing in the video format is there, perfectly available. This is public, so you can see it and you can explore it. And actually, I invite you to do so. I invite everyone, even if you are seeing this in video and if you are seeing me opening the roadmap, I invite you to go check it out yourself. I invite you to subscribe, because a lot of these things are in fact open and a lot of these things are live. So you will be able to check out a lot of this right now. And even the things that are still programmed to be launched in 2023 are already available for you to sign up so you can get a first glimpse. Okay, so let's start with X-Portal. Okay, so the Myer app that some of you may know that we have been recommending at Utrust as well. We have been recommending the Myer app for a while now, is going to be transforming into X-Portal. X-Portal is the portal to the multiverse. It will be available in February. So if you are listening to this podcast as soon as it's been released, it will be out this month on the 28th. And this is your gateway to the multiverse. This is not just a financial app, although it will have all of the wonderful features that you're used to from the Myer app, from the Hold app. This goes way beyond. This is the home of your avatar. This is the home of your chat. This is the home of your social. This is the home of gaming. This is the home of reading. This is a portal. This is what gives you access to different universes. And as opposed to other places that allow you to build your online identity, this will, everything you create here will actually be owned by you. This is not a centralized app. This is not a centralized exchange. We will not own, we meaning Multiverse X, will not own anything that you put here. It's all owned by you. Okay? So, this is an essential aspect of starting to build your life in a digital universe. And it's out on the 28th of February, and you should be checking it out. So, back to the roadmap. After X-Portal, pretty soon, we've already spoken of Multiverse X bridges, we will see on March the 29th the first glimpse of X Worlds. Now, this is one of the key apps for the multiverse, maybe the most important of all, because this is where the actual multiverses are going to live. The actual metaverses are going to live. So this is coming soon, and you are already allowed to submit your email and sign up for a first glimpse. I personally can't wait, because here's the thing that's different about X Worlds when compared to other metaverses, other multiverses, other experiments that are being done elsewhere by other companies in creating these kinds of spaces, is that what is happening in the multiverse is not closed. X Worlds is not just going to contain Multiverse X's proprietary metaverse. X Worlds will give you, whether you are an individual, whether you are a company, the ability to create your own world, your own metaverse. The idea for this is not to create a closed space that we as a company control. The idea for this is to create a platform where anyone and everyone can build their own. We want there to be as many metaverses as you can imagine, as many places with as many rules, as many structures as you yourself can program. We want it to be free from the start. We want it to be open from the start. We want everyone to have access equally from the start. So it's not in our hands to change it, to corrupt it, to turn it into something that in our imagination sounds good, but is not good for the users. X Worlds goes live, according to our roadmap, on March the 29th, 2023. You want to get a first glimpse of this. You want to see this. So go there, multiversex.com/roadmap, find X Worlds, click that button that says coming soon. Check it out. You will not regret it. So next, I want you to look at xFabric. And yes, I did skip xMoney. If you are seeing this in video, I did skip xMoney, but that's because I'm going to talk about later. Okay? So don't blame me. Just give me a second. xFabric. xFabric is blockchain modules. It may sound complex, but it's not. It's actually a really simple concept. xFabric is going to be giving every one of you that wants to build an application, a business, something of your imagination, of your own creative design on the metaverse, our metaverse, anyone else's metaverse. But you don't feel like you have the tools. You don't feel like you have what you need to create it. We are going to revolutionize the idea of open source software, because we are going to provide you with the fabric of our metaverse. We are going to provide you with easy to deploy modules that will allow you, for example, to create the financial backbone on the blockchain for your new Multiverse X business. This goes live on April the 26th, 2023. And this is what's going to allow everyone that has an idea for the metaverse to actually build it without having to reinvent the wheel. Okay, so xFabric is also an absolutely decisive piece of the puzzle. Last but not least, xMoney. xMoney is going to be one of the core aspects of how the metaverse works, because we want everyone that is interested in this project, anyone that wants to be a part of this, to be able to do so freely, openly, and as easily and seamlessly as they possibly can. And a big part of that is making money easy. We have believed as a company, and Utrust CEO Sanya Khan mentions this all the time, that the single thing that we can change, that we can fix to make everyone's lives that much easier, is payments. Payments may seem like a boring, drab affair that is simple, that is, accessible. You pay whatever fees you have to pay, you jump through whatever hoops you have to jump through, and, sooner or later, easier or harder, payments happen, and you don't have to worry about them anymore. That's not true. Payments represent up to 11% of a company's lost revenue. Depending on how, where, and with whom you do business, the simple processing fees for payments can cost up to 11% of your revenue. I know I'm being repetitive here, but it is quite shocking because if you know any business whatsoever, you will know that no one can afford 11% to just disappear. And that's what we are doing now. So why we are building this solution, a solution that will include fiat, that will include a debit card, a solution that will include obviously crypto as well, a solution that will be easy to onboard and easy to use, a solution that will be cheap, a solution that will work in all universes, physical, whether you're dealing with e-commerce invoices, whatever you want to do in this world or out there in the metaverse. Why are we building this as one of the first essential pieces of the metaverse? It's because we understand that if we don't fix this from the get-go, we run the risk of creating a complicated, strange, unfixable system like the one that exists now, like the one that we all have to deal with right now. And this is why we build. This is why we are so motivated to make this right, to get this right from the very beginning. Because payments and money are what can make or break a world, a society. And that's what we are trying to do here. So, in the next few episodes, you will be introduced to other ways of thinking, to other experiences, to people who come from different backgrounds from mine, and from most of the people who work at xMoney. And we will be diving into other aspects of what has driven us to reach these conclusions, what has driven us to build the things that we are building. The next episode will come out 2 weeks after this one. And in the meantime, may I recommend that you subscribe to this podcast, you turn on notifications so you don't miss it. And in the meantime, keep up with what we're doing. Keep up with our work. We are building this in public. We are super transparent about our work. Follow us on social media. Like I said, Twitter's at Utrust. Telegram, Utrust Official. We are verified everywhere. If you don't see the little blue tick, don't follow. The Why We Build series is not just a podcast. It also includes blog articles. It includes videos. So find us on YouTube. Find our blog, utrust.com/blog. And until next week, it was lovely to see you. My name is João Zamith, and I will see you again.